My GPS said I was 4 miles from where I was standing. I checked it 3 times. I was on a boundary line I'd walked twice that season. I could see the ridge, I could see the cut of the creek below me, and the unit in my hand was calmly telling me I was somewhere I had never been. Second season, backcountry ranger. Smokies. It was getting dark, so I did what you're trained to do. I keyed the radio and asked dispatch to verify my grid. The voice that came back wasn't Marissa. I'd worked with her all season. I knew her voice. This was a man. Slow. Very calm. And he said my name. He said, "Stand down, Ranger. Your coordinates do not exist." I want to tell you what my body did because my brain hadn't caught up. My arms went cold from the elbow down. Not fear like a thought, fear like a temperature drop. I asked him to repeat. He didn't. He said, "Return to your last waypoint." So I turned around and started walking back. I made it maybe 200 meters before I realized the sound of my own boots was wrong. There was an echo. In dense forest at night, there is no echo. The trees eat everything. But every step came back to me a half-second late from somewhere behind and to the left. I stopped. The echo stopped. 1 beat too slow. I told myself it was the terrain. I started walking. It started walking. And here's where I stopped being a ranger and became an animal. I ran. Headlamp bouncing. Branches opening my face up. Running through country you never run through at night. And the whole way, that half-second late sound stayed exactly with me. Not gaining. Not falling back. Matching me. I got to my waypoint. My tent was there. My fire ring was there. And my pack was sitting against a tree at the edge of the clearing. Packed. Straps buckled. Lid closed. I was still wearing my pack. I stood there with my hands shaking so hard the light was jumping all over that clearing, looking at my own bag sitting neat against a tree 20 feet from me. And the thing behind me stopped walking, because it had arrived. I don't remember the next part. My next clear memory is the trailhead before dawn, my hands on the hood of my truck throwing up. The pack against the tree, nobody ever found it. Mine was still on my back. My transmission asking for grid verification isn't in the log. Where it should be, there's one line saying I failed to report. I don't know who was on that radio. I don't know what walked me back to my own camp. And I've never been able to explain what my bag was doing waiting against that tree while I was still carrying it. An echo, half a second too slow, his own packed bag against a tree while he was still wearing it, and a voice on the radio that knew his name. Before the next account, tell me what time it is where you are right now. Drop it in the comments. I want to see how many of you are out there in the dark tonight, and I read every single one. We're pushing toward 10,000 subscribers before the end of the month. If this account means something to you, hit subscribe. Everyone counts. And here's what I can't answer. Was that bag a warning? Get out, we've already packed for you. Or was it a place setting? One means it wanted him gone. The other means it was expecting him. Drop your answer below. Ash went to the edge of the ridge, sat down, and would not look at me. Cadaver dog. Belgian Malinois. His entire life was walking toward things I didn't want to see, and he had never once in 4 years refused me anything. Day 4 of a solo survey. Northwest Olympic. Rainforest so thick the light comes down green. I was ahead of schedule and feeling good, and then Ash locked up on the trail ahead. Not alerting, not the trained sit. Locked. Every muscle. Staring into a valley that my map said was flat ground. The map said flat. I was looking at a drop. I got out my GPS to mark it, and the screen was doing something I'd never seen. My position marker was drifting slow across the display in a straight line, like I was in a moving car. I was standing still. I held that unit in both hands and watched myself travel 100 meters without taking a step. That's when Ash started to growl. Low, continuous. Not at the valley, at the trail behind me. I turned around. Fog, trees, nothing. And I want to be honest about my body because I've had a bear come at me and it wasn't like this. My legs stopped working. Not metaphorically, I had to tell them to move, one at a time like operating machinery. And then, from down in that valley the map said didn't exist, something keyed a radio. I heard it. 4 seconds of open channel. That particular hiss, unmistakable, coming up out of the trees below me. My radio was on my belt. It wasn't transmitting. Something down there had a radio and it was holding the button down, and it wasn't saying anything. I said hello into the fog. Because I'm an idiot, and because you do. The hiss stopped, and Ash, who hunts corpses for a living, who has never been afraid of anything dead, pressed himself flat against my legs and started shaking. I called him to follow me out. He wouldn't. I dragged 60 pounds of terrified working dog backward down a mountain for 3 miles in the dark, both of us going as fast as a thing can go when one of it won't turn its back on what's behind us. He never worked again. He'd shake if I brought his harness within 10 feet of him. Day 4 isn't in my telemetry. Days 1 through 3 came back fine. The tech told me it wasn't corrupted and wasn't damaged. There was just no day 4 recorded, like the mountain didn't have one. I've never gone back, and the part that keeps me up isn't the radio or the drift. It's that Ash wouldn't look at me. In 4 years, he always looked at me. Up there, he wouldn't take his eyes off the trail behind us, and he wouldn't let me look either. A GPS marker traveling 100 meters while she stood still. A radio keying from a valley that wasn't on the map, and a cadaver dog too frightened to ever work again. Here's what I can't put down. Ash never looked at the valley. He watched the trail behind them the whole way out. Does that mean the thing was never in the valley, and the valley was just where it wanted her looking? Or is it worse that he was guarding her from something already between them and the way home? Tell me what Ash was watching. The last account is from a man in the desert who found a door standing in open sand, and made the mistake of touching it. That's next. I put my hand on it. That's the thing I have to live with. Everything that happened out there happened because I put my hand on it. 15 years law enforcement ranger, Death Valley. I deal with people. Poachers, vandals, tourists who won't turn around. Somebody flagged a heat signature in a restricted sector where nothing should be, and I went out expecting a campfire. There was a door standing in the open sand. No walls, no building. A door, upright, in the middle of nothing, and it was black in a way I don't have words for. My headlamp reaches 100 meters and shines off everything. That surface took my light and gave nothing back. Not dark, empty. I walked all the way around it. Same both sides. Behind it was just more desert. I took photos and sent 3 to my supervisor because I needed a witness. His reply came in under 60 seconds. Delete those. Do not log them. Return to base now. Do not use your radio until you're inside, and I should have. But I'd been standing in 115 degrees looking at an impossible object, and some part of me needed to know if it was real. So I reached out and I touched it. It was cold. In that heat, in that sun, the surface under my palm was cold like a car window in January. And the moment my skin made contact, every sound in the desert stopped. The desert isn't silent. There's always wind, always something. It all stopped at once, like a switch. I could hear my own heartbeat in my ears, and underneath my heartbeat on the other side of that door, I heard something breathing. Not wind, breathing. Slow, deep, close, from the other side of a door that had nothing behind it. I got my hand off it and I ran. 15 years, 42 years old, running across open sand like a kid. And the whole way, I could feel it. Not chasing, waiting. Like it had all the time in the world and I was the one who'd have to come back. I got the truck door open. And my phone rang. My phone. No service out there. None. 15 years and I've never had a bar in that sector. It rang once. I looked at the screen. It said my own number. I left the truck running and walked out to the road and did not stop until I hit pavement. They found the truck the next morning. Engine going, door open, weapon on the seat. My phone was in the sand where I dropped it. The photos were gone off of it. I quit 6 weeks later. The door is still out there. I never told anyone what I heard through it because I know how it sounds. But I know what breathing is, and I know it was on the other side of a door with nothing behind it. A door that was cold in 115 degrees. Breathing on the other side of a thing with nothing behind it. And a phone with no service that rang, showing his own number. Here's the question. Was that door a barrier? Something holding a thing in, and he put his hand on the only wall between them? Or was it an invitation? And the reason nothing came through is that a door only opens from one side, and it's still waiting for him to be the one who opens it. Tell me which one you believe. 3 rangers, 3 parks, and every one of them survived the same way. They left before they understood. That's the thread. Not what they found, what they did. The ranger in the Smokies ran the second the echo came back wrong. The surveyor dragged a terrified dog 3 miles down a mountain rather than spend another minute on that ridge. The man in the desert walked away from a running truck and never looked back. None of them stayed to work it out. All 3 are alive. The ones who stopped to make sense of it are the ones nobody found. Lesson 1. When the ground and your instruments disagree, that's not a technical problem. It's a leaving signal. A GPS that puts you 4 miles from your own ridge isn't a calibration issue you solve in the field at night. If your position and your eyes stop agreeing, turn around and walk out on terrain you can see. Don't chase the numbers. Lesson 2. Your body knows before you do. Let it drive. Cold arms, legs that won't take orders, a heartbeat you can suddenly hear. Every one of these people described their body reacting before their mind agreed there was a reason. That's not panic. That's the oldest instrument you own, and it has a better track record than a screen. Lesson 3. Do not touch it, whatever it is. The worst moment in these 3 accounts came when a level-headed man put his hand on something because he needed to know if it was real. You don't need to know. Knowing isn't worth what it costs. Photograph it from a distance and get out. And let it stay a question you're alive to ask. Thank you for trusting Obscure Nights with these accounts. If you have an encounter of your own, our submission email is in the channel bio. We read every single one. This is Obscure Nights, where the cases nobody talks about get told the way they actually happened. Good night.